Breaking news, the Gaza Media Office, that's basically the government ruling in Gaza, their media branch, are reporting something absolutely shocking. Opioid pills, right? It's like morphine. Think of morphine. Opioid pills, strong painkiller, allegedly has been found inside at least 4 bags of distributed flour by the US and Israel-backed GHF. Remember this name, the GHF, Gaza Humanitarian Foundation. This is an Israeli-backed organization that's pretending to be a humanitarian organization, but it's Israeli-backed, and they might be the ones that are causing the starvation. So, not really. Anyway, it's like if the butcher basically had a health and well-being center for the lambs they are currently and are about to slaughter. This isn't just any drug we're talking about. We're talking about oxycodone, a highly addictive painkiller normally reserved for cancer patients and severe pain management. The irony, pain medication isn't allowed into Gaza, right? It might be weaponized somehow or might be used by the resistance forces, right? The Israeli blockade prevents pain medication from reaching civilians in Gaza. For 2 years, people have had surgeries conducted without anesthesia in many cases, right? There are videos of surgeries circulating online being carried out on kids, or has been carried out on kids who are reciting the Quran, Islam's holy book, as an alternative for general or local anesthetic, because that's all they have. All they have is their faith a lot of the time. Because Israel doesn't allow medication into the strip, right? Turns out, according to allegations, this is the irony, Israel may allow painkillers into the strip as long as they've crushed it and mixed it with the flour being distributed by the GHF. Perfect to get people addicted, leading to further long-term medical complications, issues such as addiction and basically inebriation or insanity for the besieged population of the Palestinian territory in Gaza, if not outright death, of course, from overdose, if babies, children, mothers, pregnant women have the flour that has been basically drugged, laced with opioids. Gaza's government media office documented 4 testimonies from citizens in the last 24 to 48 hours who have found these pills inside flour bags from the GHF, the Gaza Humanitarian Foundation, distribution sites, warning that some narcotic substances may have been deliberately ground, into powder or dissolved directly into the flour itself. Dissolved is probably not the right word. I'm not, mixing it in water, but it's ground and mixed with the flour, right? Dr. Khalil Mazen Abu Nada, a Palestinian doctor in Gaza, called it, quote, a means to obliterate our societal awareness, because you'll basically drug you and leave you basically semi-unconscious or semi-conscious for as long as you've had it. And if you're starving and this is the first thing you're having, flour laced with drugs, what world are we living in, guys? What world are we living in? Gazan authorities are holding Israel fully responsible for what they're calling a heinous crime designed to spread addiction and destroy Palestinian societal fabric from within. If you can't beat their military, beat their population. If you can't starve the civilians into submission, drug them, I guess. This is the playbook that Israel has. Wow. But here's the audacity from the opposition, right? The audacity from the opposition. The Gaza Humanitarian Foundation, which operates these controversial aid sites, condemned by an Amnesty International, UNRWA, which is the United Nations sort of aid agency here, they've denied distributing bulk flour at all, calling the reports clearly false information. Their quote from a article. So the GHF, the way they denied it was, we're not giving aid to Palestinians. How can it be laced with drugs? How can it be drug-laced flour? We're making sure we don't give them flour, right? That would be ridiculous. Dual use, the resistance fighters could eat it. And then we'd be in trouble because our forces, they can't hack. They can't deal with, they can't face basically unarmored, unhelmeted, militia, resistance forces running around with Soviet-era, small arms. We only have, the best technology in the world, supplied, funded by the American taxpayer. We only have the cutting edge drones because we don't want to potentially lose our lives and get ambushed and whatnot. So we can't have flour coming into the Gaza Strip. Don't be ridiculous. So obviously we haven't drugged the flour because we're not giving this kind of food aid to the starving people. That's their defense. Meanwhile, over 500 Palestinians have been reportedly killed near GHF sites in just the last 30 days. With human rights groups condemning the organization GHF, for potential complicity in war crimes. Yes, because it's an aid front for a genocidal campaign. God, honestly, it's mental. These new allegations add another dark layer to an already devastating humanitarian crisis unfolding in Gaza, where people are literally dying while trying to get food for their families. This is being reported across the world. Indian Times, the Indian Express, I believe, just is the news outlet that came to mind all of a sudden. I don't know why. It's been reported by a variety of sources from a variety of countries. So I'm not just making this up for anyone wondering. I couldn't make this up, really, to be honest. In terms of the humanitarian sort of injustices, the war crimes, Israel has done a good job challenging even the most creative ways with which humanity could be completely, crumpled up and just chucked in the bin on a state level. We have no humanity. It doesn't matter. We can just do whatever we want. They've made it tough to sort of dream up or conjure up or make up a nightmare more horrendous than the nightmare that they themselves have actually carried out on the ground. Hope is not lost, though. The international community continues to decry or fight back or condemn the treatment of the Palestinians in Gaza. And although it often feels like nothing is happening, a lot can happen in a short space of time when a certain threshold is reached. There are some indicators, for example, that the pressure Israel faced with Iran and the potential for round two, which I've mentioned in previous videos, looking at things analytically, is very possible things might pop off again between Israel and Iran. That pressure that Israel has felt may leave Israel with a tough choice: risk a two-front war or settle a fight and focus on the other one. A ceasefire in Gaza, therefore, to focus on Iran, is on the table. If that were to happen and aid was allowed back into the Strip once more, Iran could potentially have played a direct role in having the siege lifted, not as a condition for peace between Iran and Israel, but because of the threat that Iran poses to the Israeli state. Fighting them in round two might force Israel to make peace with basically, at this point, the civilians of Gaza. Time will tell how things turn out, and I'll be here to report to you the news and the analysis, unbiased and without the Western spin. Till next time, I'm Mahfouz. I'll see you on the next one. To those who care about the humanitarian situation, don't give up. Keep learning. If you can take action, if you want to take action, find the avenues. Things are changing, and I believe, analytically speaking, it's for the better.